Hello everybody, today on Political Excess we're going to have two videos, and the first one is going to cover the March 19th primary. That's coming up in just about 5 days, and it's not for sure, but there is a chance we're going to be able to do a stream that day. Now there's not exactly a lot happening on this primary day. These 5 states are going to have their presidential primaries, but the nomination is already pretty much wrapped up between Biden and Trump. So Arizona, Florida, and Kansas have nothing else going on. Illinois and Ohio do have their other races for Congress happening. There could be some state house and state senate elections to look at. Those are generally going to be a little bit too obscure. So let's start with the big one. Let's go to Ohio and take a look at the U.S. Senate election. The incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown, he's going to be the nominee. He's running for his 4th term. So there's nothing to look at on that side. Everything is going to be on the Republican side. If we scroll down just a bit, we could see Sherrod Brown's endorsements and his campaign financing. You could see as of the end of last quarter, he's already raised over $27 million. So no challenge to Sherrod Brown. I think that's a wise decision for the Democrats. If it's not Sherrod Brown, Republicans are very likely to flip this seat. With Sherrod Brown, it's going to be competitive. So let's look at the Republican side. And we've got 3 major candidates. We've got Matt Dolan, Frank LaRose, and Bernie Moreno. And I just put out a poll today on the community tab asking which of these 3 is going to be the Republican nominee. So vote in that if you're interested. But this is kind of a wide open race. Matt Dolan ran for the U.S. Senate just 2 years ago in 2022, and he got in 3rd place in that GOP primary. At least back then, Dolan was considered the more moderate or establishment candidate. He seemed to not have much appeal with the Trump base. Since then, he knows he has to court those voters. The question is it going to be enough? Frank LaRose is the current Ohio Secretary of State, so he already has some statewide wins under his belt. But LaRose might have somewhat of a cloud hanging over him, as he did not have success with the recent abortion amendment. And then there's Bernie Moreno. He was born in Colombia, and in case that gives him any points, he does have the immigrant story. He's also known for running car dealerships, and he's apparently the father-in-law of current U.S. Rep. Max Miller. So those are the 3 candidates, and those are some big names. Down here in the declined to be candidates section, we do have Josh Mandel, who decided to forego yet another U.S. Senate run, and Vivek Ramaswamy. I do wonder how he would have done if he decided to enter this race. But here we've got 3 debates. I was able to watch some of these different debates, but in a Republican primary for Ohio, there is a lot of posturing on who can be the most conservative or Trump-friendly. They also do have to answer some of the other critical issues like abortion, and they're all going to be united against Biden and Sherrod Brown. Maybe it comes down to which of them is going to be the most culturally populist with a little bit of economic populism to balance it out. But this is another competitive Republican primary in Ohio. Then whoever wins is going to have to pivot to the general. So let's see what we've got for endorsements. Matt Dolan does have former U.S. Senator Rob Portman and current Governor Mike DeWine. So those are some big names, but what about Frank LaRose? He's currently in statewide office, but he does not have any statewide elected officials. How about Bernie Moreno's endorsements? Well, he might have the key endorsement for an Ohio Republican primary, and that is Donald Trump. They all want his endorsement, but only one can have it, and that is going to be Moreno. But he also does have a bunch of current U.S. senators lined up, including their other senator, J.D. Vance. How about the campaign financing? Well, Matt Dolan has raised the most, followed by Bernie Moreno. Frank LaRose is in a distant 3rd. But of those 3, Dolan and Moreno are able to do some self-funding. LaRose does not exactly have that luxury. So what about the polling? Well, it's kind of all over the place. Last year, Frank LaRose was the front runner. Then it kind of shifted toward Bernie Moreno. In the most recent poll from Emerson, Matt Dolan is actually in the lead. Moreno's right behind with 23, and LaRose is still in this thing. He's at 16 with a decent chunk, 32% still undecided. So I don't know what's going to happen. I still think the Trump base, which is crucial in the state of Ohio, they're not going to be a fan of Matt Dolan. He's getting donations and endorsements from the establishment. I'm guessing they're going to be mostly interested in Bernie Moreno after that Trump endorsement. But there's other voters here that are not just part of the Trump base. These are going to be a more suburban, independent, or moderate type of voter that might support Matt Dolan. Now, as far as I can tell, this is an open primary state, and with no competition on the Democratic side with Sherrod Brown, some of those voters might cross over and vote in the Republican primary. Here's a story from Politico that shows you that Democrats are looking to meddle in this GOP primary. They've got some ad buys associated with Chuck Schumer that are trying to prop up Bernie Moreno. So this is the kind of thing we've seen before. If it's not a close primary, you do have to worry about the other side affecting the outcome. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen, but it does look like this race is going to be competitive. Maybe Matt Dolan is a stronger candidate because he would do better in the suburbs. But maybe Bernie Moreno is actually the guy to get the job done because he's actually going to get that Trump base to turn out. Or maybe Frank LaRose ends up squeaking by. Either way, this is a state that Donald Trump won in 2020 by 8 points. So regardless of who wins to face Sherrod Brown in the general election, this should be a very tight race. race. Brown has won several elections before, potentially in favorable environments, but I wouldn't count him out just yet. Republicans have been known to squander some races, but the general election polling for Brown does not show him with any kind of a significant advantage. There's a lot of time left, but right now it looks like it could go either way. So that's the main event, that's Ohio. But if you want to know what else is happening on this election day, this page right here sums up all the races in all the other states. So after that Ohio Senate race in the top left, then we've got some U.S. House races. We've got 3 of them in Illinois. 2 of them are expected to be reasonably competitive for the Democrats, the 4th District and the 7th. That looks like it's going to be a battle between the establishment and the progressives. Also in Illinois on the other side in the 12th District, incumbent Republican Mike Bost is getting a primary challenge from Darren Bailey. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he was the Republican nominee in 2022 for governor to go up against J.B. Pritzker. He later lost to J.B. Pritzker by double digits, so that could be a down ballot race to take a look at. Also back to Ohio in the U.S. House in the 6th and the 9th districts, Republicans looking for a nominee there. So that's it for president and Congress. These states also do have some even more down ballot local elections. Both Illinois and Ohio have a primary for the state Supreme Court, with the Democratic primary being the ones to take a look at. On the top right, we've also got some county prosecutor elections. So it's all here, including down here at the bottom, a referendum for Chicago. So that pretty much sums up everything. All these links will be down below in the description. The big focus is on Ohio, but in that 12th district in Illinois, it's a very red district downstate. That election between Mike Bost and Darren Bailey does have one recent poll. Bost is only up by 6, 45 to 39. So we're going to see what happens. It's possible we get a stream going. So not a lot happening, but it should still be exciting. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about any of these primary elections? What's going to happen in Ohio? Any down ballot races you're taking a look at in Illinois? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.